Hey everybody, welcome back to Blushing Nerd Tarot. Just a quick one today on two different topics I want to cover. Um, First, I don't know if you've heard the buzz, but Alleyman Tarot is kind of all the rage right now. Um, Seeing a lot of walkthroughs about it and all that kind of stuff, and I I was not. I just don't think I even knew about the Kickstarter for this, but after it was released and people started putting up their walkthroughs and things, I was very interested. But when I first heard about the concept, I wasn't so sure. Um, it sounded like I don't know if I could handle the different cards from different decks and all that kind of stuff. Turns out it's fantastic. And it's a really rich experience, I think, because of the way the creator um, went to extraordinary lengths to make this not just a deck, but a full-blown experience. Because one thing I haven't heard mention of yet is the podcast. There's actually an Alleyman's podcast, and it's on YouTube. So I'll put a link to it in the description. And it is created by the creator of the deck, and it's under the publishing company's name. Very interesting stuff. It's really fun. It adds so much depth to the idea of this deck, and I really love it. Same with the guidebook. The guidebook's pretty fantastic as well. So anyway, I say all that because since I was late to the game and I didn't know about this when it was a Kickstarter, I didn't get in on it. I wondered if there was a similar experience to be had out there. Either, perhaps people could try to put something like this together on their own, but that would be very difficult to do. But what other sort of mashups are there out there? And I did a bit of a deep dive on Amazon just one night, just thinking about this deck. And actually, I found this on eBay. So that's why I have the deck. I was able to buy it in the secondary market after it was released. So I paid a premium for it, but that's what happens if you don't make it on the first run. So anyway, got it on eBay, paid a premium for it, but they're limited. It's not going to be something that everybody's able to do. So what I thought I'd do is look for an alternative that has. It's not the same by any stretch. It's not. It wasn't even created with the same kind of thing in mind, but it is still. It's an art collaboration deck, and I actually I've seen walkthroughs on these before, or thoughts about this concept where people pull in different artists to do different cards, and I've seen that on Kickstarter before when different people do that, and the reviews are pretty mixed. That doesn't seem to be a super popular thing in the community, but I wonder if things like the Alleyman are going to offer an opportunity, open that back up, maybe rekindle some interest in that type of deck where we have a mashup, because this almost gives permission to the community to say, you know what, every card doesn't have to be the same. The backs don't have to be the same. They can be completely different styles, all that sort of thing that maybe that wasn't really accepted widely before, but may now forever be changed by the Alleyman's Tarot. Who knows? The market will judge. So that being said, put that aside for a moment. What I found was, this is the box, by the way. This is actually the box that the deck comes in. And it is called the Family Tarot deck. Some of you may be familiar with it. It came out quite a while ago. I think it was 2016. It's an art collective out of, I believe it's Wisconsin, that created this deck. So it's a bunch of different artists. Let me get the details out here. So it's called the Family Tarot deck. Interesting name. The Family Tarot deck. Here's a card that came with it that, in fact, let me do the old switcheroo here so you can actually see what I'm talking about. The Family Tarot deck. 62 artists, 3 years, one journey. So there are some repeats in here, some artists that did more than one card and things. So, yeah, 2016 by the People for Peace Art Collective. So, um, after I got this, I started searching on Amazon for it again so that I could do this and give everybody the link and show you where to find it. And it actually didn't come up on a search in Amazon at all. So I was a little concerned that maybe I bought the last one and I was not going to then post a video and say, "Hey, there's this thing that's out of print that you can't get, and there's an alternative that guess what? It's also out of print and you can't get it." So I didn't want to do that. But and this may very well be out of print, but at least as of the time that I'm recording this, there are still 16 in stock with the place that sold it through Amazon. Um, so if it is of interest to you, um, check out the link in the description. What I'll do here too, real quick, let me before I flip through. Well, no, let's do this first. Let me show you the deck. So these are the backs, quite beautiful. Um, get a standard card here to show you the difference in shape. It's very different. It's oracle shape, basically. I mean, I guess you would describe that as sort of an oracle shape. It's a little bit shorter and quite a bit wider than a standard RWS, US Games. Um, so what we have is a standard 78 card tarot deck that is created by that large group of artists. The deck is not in order, but this is not intended to be exact. Well, I guess it is sort of in order. If I just turn it upside down, I suppose we could do that. But not a full flip through. Just something to give you an idea. If it's maybe it's of interest to you, maybe it's something you would find a fun alternative to things like the Alleyman's Tarot. So comes with one blank card. Reminds me a little bit of a Polaroid from back in the 80s. But so sorry. Here's a full card. There's some really talented artists that contributed to this, and I actually kind of like. I like the aesthetic. I don't mind the big titles at the bottom. I think the calligraphy is really interesting. Um, I don't mind the borders. I'm okay with it in this deck. The card stock is actually quite nice. This was really well executed, I think, for something that was done as a big group project, and we all know how difficult those can be. So here on the Magician, you see that the bottom is actually done in a similar art style to the top. So I think the calligraphy is done by the same artist that did the main card, perhaps, and so they were at liberty to integrate their art style into what's going on here on the rest of it. Um, so really pretty impressive. And there are some of the cards you can tell that people really leaned in on certain traditional symbolism, but other cards are very avant-garde um and just not faith. Huh. Wow, look at that. That's sort of a galaxy starfield kind of thing going on there. But her lovers. So interesting deck. Lots of fun stuff going on here. Um, but again, not going to go through the whole thing. If it's of interest to you, um, very different art styles too, right? But again, that's kind of, I feel like that's what a successful, wildly successful project like the Alleyman's Tarot is sort of opened a door here. And maybe this sort of project, how about that, can now just have a different audience or a new audience in the market that it may not have had before. So Anyway, 16 of these, to my knowledge, left in stock currently. Let's see if we can pull up. Bear with me for a moment. I've not done a shared screen on this type of thing before, but we'll give it a try. And here we go. Okay. So the family tarot deck, 78 cards, collaborated with 62 artists, blah, 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 blah. Created in Wisconsin. 14.99. 14.99. So depending on your location, you could get this quite quickly. Um, I don't know where it ships from, but it did take I think it took 2 days for me to get it, which is not standard for me. I have a couple of big Amazon warehouses nearby, so usually things arrive, same day or next day. So this one must have been pushed out a little bit from me, but they do have. It looks like I think this art collective has a Facebook page, but I don't think it was very active. Maybe no recent updates or anything. So it doesn't. I don't even know if this collective is still together or still a thing. But here we go. Possibly a soon to be rare thing that is really neat and very well executed for 14.99. So that's a fun thing. Um, so let's take a look here. Pardon me. There we go. All right. So that brings me to part number two, which is another interesting thing that's going on right now. That that I'd like to share with everybody because I this is I had to get this. I don't have a cat deck yet, but I have two cats that are a huge part of my life, and um, I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have these cats. We've always had cats. It's just it's something that and I like dogs too. I don't discriminate, but I just don't have a dog right now. But I do have two cats, and I've often been asked about, why don't I have a cat deck or do I? So anyway, um, now I have one coming, and I want to share it with everybody because I think it's a neat project, and it also benefits. It benefits a cat rescue. So let's take a quick look here. If I can again share my screen. Okay. So the Considerate Cat Tarot has a previous release. So this came out, I think, a couple of years ago, but they are doing another release. It's an individual, independently produced deck by the artist. Um, and pre-orders are now open for shipping date in September of this year. Now it's a little bit challenging on this website to find the right page to get to because they do have several products. There are some tarot bags and some other things. If you look in the shop, tarot deck prints, book bags, enamel pins, greeting cards, things like that. So it is. There are several other things that you can get from that, but however, if you want to get the pre-order on the deck, I'll bring up that specific page and then link to it in the description below. But it's inspired by the story of rescue cats, and it also benefits rescue cats. So that is really great. Um, that's the playing cards, the tarot deck. Consider Cat Volume 2 pre-order is $45. That's Canadian, so, I believe. So there's yes, this does come from, British Columbia. So there is gonna be a little bit of a difference in that price if you're not in Canada. Um, but I think this is a really fun thing. They also do have some nice tarot bags, and let me see if I can bring up yeah, it was crowdfunded tarot deck. So okay, this is the deck and guide combo. It says out of stock because, again, this was the original. This was the Kickstarter, and I believe one of the things that happened, and it almost from the language on the site made me believe that this was something folks did not like, was that there was actually um, the the guidebook came separate from the box, and you can see here it's kind of a different size. It looks like it wouldn't fit in the box. So I think that was the problem. So they changed that. Now the guidebook is going to be in the box, so it's included with the deck, I believe, and fits nicely in the box. So um, I don't know exactly what changes have been made, but it does seem like there have been card changes as part of a request from the community, whether that's specific cards, whether it's the card stock or something. It looks like a great presentation. Oh wow, there you go. You've seen it here. Um, so it looks, yeah, it looks like a really fun deck. But I like a lot of the images that came up for this. Just seem great, but it benefits cat charities, so pet rescue, and it's a really fun thing. I'm pre-ordering. I did already do the pre-order, so so that's that. That I'm sold. Um, so let's go back here. Take a All right. Um, so that is that. I believe that's all I have for you today. Just a quick one to discuss all those things. Stay tuned. Coming up, episode 2 of our Tarot Nerd Out deep dive is on the Emperor card. So that'll be coming in the next several days when I get around to assembling all the information on that, get the research done. So if you haven't seen the other two, I'll put link to those in the description as well. Done episodes 1 and 2 so far. So having a lot of fun with that and looking forward to the next one. So thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.